Good morning, everyone. Jim Clark here at the Synchronicity Sanctuary in Central Virginia to share a contemplation with you that will hopefully bring you to a moment where you might open up to a greater understanding of who you are and what life is. It's a tool that you use in the process of waking up and experiencing yourself for who you truly are. It was a tool that I used for many, many years, and along the way, it helped to bring me to a point in my thinking where I had to just let go and allow an experience to emerge out of the contemplation. So the contemplation, the tool for today is simply this: precision balance, the simultaneity of one. All form is an illusion, a great show that's orchestrated by a masterful director. We are all that director. The show must go on, because it's not until the end that we discover who done it. It's a storyline, it's a show, it's a creation of consciousness to fulfill the primary intention to fully be itself. So it does so by creating a polarized field of experience, and within that it creates itself it diversifies itself in form. And as we all know from today with our ability to look out into the heavens and our ability to look into the microcosmic world with greater accuracy and detail, that this creation is huge. It's unbelievable just how mysterious it really is and how it works. So form, the human form. We're born into a human form. We take on a human form. And in the process of taking on our form, as the energy that we are contracts and continues to contract until it can assume this form, the awareness that we begin with is forfeited. And we start our life out in the relative field of experience with a dominant negative polarity. It's the creative polarity of contraction, without which you couldn't have the form to have the human experience. So it's not like there's something wrong with it, but you begin with knowing nothing, absolutely nothing. And then you start your life out, you're exposed to ideas, you start to develop your thinking, you're given belief systems, you're given all kinds of information, and then at some point in your life, you begin to become unconscious to the information that you took on in your very early years of your life. And so there's an unconscious mind and conceptual reality that you are responding to, but you cannot access directly anymore. And then there's the continuing intake of information in relation to that. So we become very, very identified in our quest in our life to kind of understand who we are, to understand life. What's the reason for all this? Why am I here? And so forth and so on. It's a natural question to ask. And it's a question that we tend to ask as long as we realize that we don't know, that there's a mystery to our showing up here as a human being. Otherwise, we don't ask the question and we just bumble on, assuming that the information that we do that have in our awareness is a reality. It's a definition that has some ultimate reality to it, where in fact it does not. So the perspective that you come from is what helps to determine what kind of an experience you're having as a human being. And for the most part, as long as you're within the realm of a dominant negative polarity, a contractive polarity, the experience is not going to be all that great. There's not a lot of joy in it, in that experience, because you're going to tend to view things with judgment. You're going to tend to view things with suspicion. It's a fear-based life experience, basically. That's all there is to it. Well, here and there will be breakthroughs. There will be moments where you'll have some joy, and then it will go, and you'll wonder why, and then you'll want to have more joy. That's instinctual, because the very properties of yourself in truth is to be extreme joy, to be blissful always, huh? And to dance the dance of life without a care in the world, because you're the creator of it. But when you're living as a human being without this awareness, it's just the opposite. Now you're a victim. Life is doing things to you. Things are happening to you that you can't control. And there's a reality and a truth to all the elements of life, whether it's within the illusion of being who you are not, or whether it's in the realization of who you are. There is a play going on, and we are all part of that play. You do not realize your truth and suddenly and remain, let's say, disconnected from all the other people and events in your life. You become more connected. You become more immersed in the truth of all this play, but you're coming from a very different place. You're coming from your heart. You're coming from the acceptance of yourself and the inclusion of all those others as a part of the show that you are. And you take responsibility for what you are creating, because you, at some point, you realize that you are actually creating your reality as other people are creating theirs. And that's what we're all doing, but we're doing it in concert. So it's not like you can see this in some ways, but until you can see your own acts and the basis of your creation, how you create your reality in relation to events and people and things in your life. When you see this, you come to an understanding that you cannot possibly get to conceptually. Then you start to experience aspects of yourself that are energetic. You get a presence. If you meditate and live a holistic lifestyle and you come to some understanding of the construction and how life works, then you meditate and you develop balance within yourself. After a while, you start to experience a presence within yourself, an energetic presence. It's vibrational, but along with the vibration, there's also a different kind of intelligence that's coming into your awareness. And with that, you start to see more clearly how the show is working. You understand that there is no other that's doing something to you. There is an orchestration that you are a part of, and that whatever is happening for reasons that the mind can never understand. However, it's all coming from the one that is all and everything. That intelligence, that overall intelligence that's orchestrating the show, including who you think you are, is doing it in concert, and it's doing it all for one reason, and that is to realize its primary intention, to fully be itself. And that itself is you. You're part of that as well. It's you that you're trying to realize the ultimate experience of who you truly are. And as we do this in an individual basis, we are fulfilling that intention, and then when we fulfill that intention, we move on from there. But you look at the world full of billions of human beings today, and all the challenges and all the negative things that are happening today, and you realize that the show is going on, but the intensity of the show is increasing. So it's coming to some point, I don't know exactly what it is, but I experienced myself after years of meditation and holistic lifestyle and using contemplations like this to help me to get out of my mind and open up to something different, something deeper, something more real. And as I have done this, I have realized here and there I get breakthroughs through this process. And I come to see that whatever contemplation I take, if it's pointing me to the truth of what is, even though it can't tell me what that is, it leads me to the experience of what that is. And with that experience, that is the knowledge that I gain that cannot be expressed in words. So, as I have developed this capacity to become more and more aware and to start coming from my own heart and from my own experience of the vibration of presence of the one that is all and everything, it's becoming more and more natural for me to be accepting, to be loving, and to be inclusive, and to see how everything depends on the totality of creation. The creation of life on earth began with the very simple organisms, very simple small parts of the biology of life as human, and it builds on this. And we're never independent of that, at least not so far anyway. So we are interdependent, we're not independent. Although we act as individuated expressions of the one consciousness that is all and everything. And within that, within our particular role that we're going to play, whatever that might be, if we establish the basis for it experientially, then we can express ourselves in such a way that when we speak, when we interact with people, we also bring our own energy into that. We bring it into our words, we bring it into our actions, and that energetic component that we carry with us is the teaching. That's the real message. It's the message that I got from my teacher, and it wasn't until well into the game of being with such a teacher that I actually realized, even though I was told, but experientially realized that all the words that were ever spoken were just to get my attention and keep my attention focused on the development and realization of my own truth. And as that began to realize itself as experience in my life, then I got it, okay? So, and I'm continuing to get it, and I'm continuing to be appreciative beyond words for having the experience that I've had that has led me to the realization of what life is and my own joy within that, which is ongoing. At the same time, I'm also experiencing the human part of my experience as an individuated form of consciousness, and that's perfectly fine. I can experience all the emotions, I can experience all the different concepts that might come my way, but because I'm grounded in an experiential validation of the truth of who I am, the power of belief, the power of the mind is diminished, greatly diminished. And that basis for expression that used to be more mental and more emotional within a dominant negative polarity is now moving greatly more and more into a dominant positive polarity. And so I find myself just automatically loving people. I find myself being non-judgmental and consciously expressing myself as I interact with people, to do so in a way that encourages harmony and acceptance. And I find that as I develop my ability to do this, my interactions with people and the outcome of those interactions becomes more and more harmonious. And my life just gets better and better and better. So it's not about getting something. It's not about avoiding being used. It's not about being a victim. It's about developing the love that's within you as I speak. No matter what you may feel in this moment, you are made out of love. You're made out of blissful consciousness. And to bring yourself to that awareness, to bring yourself into that experience, is the fulfillment for you as an individuated expression of consciousness, and also for consciousness itself. It's how it's going to work it. Huh? And that's the show that's going on. And so that's, in that sense, is what I mean by we are all that director. We are expressions of consciousness, and we are here to evolve ourselves, whether we think we are or not. And in that process, as we become illuminated to the truth of ourselves, we become expanded, and we start to see all of life for what it is. And that is a huge shift in consciousness, one that we automatically share. We just share it with people from informal conversation, or from moments like this where I'm doing these little live streams, and on and on and on. So it's a beautiful thing to watch, and I see more and more of it popping up all the time in this time that we're living in, where it seems that the drama and the push to find something better is happening with greater and greater intensity. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I thank you all for watching, and I hope this has been of some use for you. So until next week, when I come back with another expression, another focus to share with you, I bid you adieu, and I bid you well, and just keep on trucking, okay? Thank you.